Hey everybody, it's Rob Thomas, editor-in-chief of CrushFragDestroy.com, and we're here to take you on a little visual tour of the recently redesigned CFD. Now, as you may know, we've been gone for a couple of months, but we're back and we have a lot of new things to show you, so let's jump right in, shall we? The first most notable thing that you may see is that CFD is no longer just covering video games. Now, mind you, video games are not going anywhere. We still love them ridiculously, and they're a major part of the site's content, but we're expanding our coverage to touch on all aspects of geek-related media culture. So not only will you have video games, but you'll also have things like tabletop games, which covers pen and paper RPGs, board games, collectible card games, etc. Comics, regular books, movies, television, music, tech, which can be anything from the newest iPhone to those little gadgets and gizmos you play with on your desk during the workday instead of actually being productive and getting things done. So you're going to be seeing a lot of expanded content on the site that wasn't there before. Now, we've reworked the website quite a bit, so let's move around here and kind of show you where things are at now and where they've shifted to. Starting off at the top here, for example, we have a login link up here. We pulled the login widget out of our old sidebar because it was just kind of taking up a lot of space and we wanted to compact things a little bit. So if you click on this, you can access the back end of the site, so you can do things like change things on your user profile, or if you don't have an account yet, you can sign up for one. And then we have a couple of drop-down menus which are also mirrored down at the bottom of the site as well. About the site has simple things like, our staff pages here. When we have job openings available, our jobs page links up here. Get in touch has social network links. Forums, when they end up going up, will be here. We have a couple of email links, so you can submit news tips or contact us if there's any problems on the site, like broken links or anything of that nature. Terms and policies has the usual boring privacy policy and terms kind of stuff, but we also have our new review policy up here. Now, as you may have noticed in the slider as things are bumping around here, we are no longer using our original rating system, the one that went from highly recommended all the way down to don't bother, and we've shifted things over to kind of a more standardized, universal 5-star system. Now, the reasoning for this was that with us expanding our coverage to all of these new areas, the old rating system was a little clunky and didn't quite cleanly fit a lot of those new categories, so we wanted something universal that we could just use across the board. And the 5-star system was kind of preferred over the other alternatives, so we're going with that. All of our old content, our previous reviews, are sticking with their original versions that were there. We're not going to be updating those, at least not right now. But if you hit the review policy button, or link rather, I'm sorry, it'll take you to our updated review policy page, which covers our old system, our current system, things like that. So there's all of that up there. At any point you can click the site's logo, which will take you back to the main page. Up here on the menu bar, you might also notice that all of the categories that we cover are the main links up here, and you don't have ones for things like reviews and features and editorials, and that's because we're kind of shifting around the way that we've got the content organized. For example, if you mouse over video games, you'll see that underneath it we have a separate link for video game news, game reviews. We have things organized by console and platform. We have a separate link for indie games because, as you know, we love our indies here. So all of that's there. All of the other sections are going to mirror that setup eventually. For the time being, a lot of them don't have everything there. Like some of them just have, a news or reviews link. But eventually, with time, these will all populate and be full up. Another thing to note is down here at the end, we previously had a category of posts that we referred to as the Word, which was basically notes from the staff when we do things like site changes or updates or any sort of important news we think that you need to know about. Those are normally going to go in the spotlight slider up here when they first come out, but we renamed that category to now it's called CF Dispatch. So when they're not in the spotlight here anymore, when something is no longer brand new and begging for your attention that we need to let you know about, it'll move to the archives located here. So there's that. Now if we scroll down a little bit, you'll see that the next section is currently originals. That may change, but for the time being, this is where we're going to be putting our featured original content. Things like features, editorials, our podcasts will be here. The fourth slot, right now, previews is holding this, kind of keeping the spot warm, but what we're hoping to do eventually is, in the future, when we begin bringing you, we want to start producing original video content for CFD. Once we do, that'll probably start going in this slot here, but right now, previews is just kind of keeping it held down for us, and eventually we'll move that back up to the top up here. So there's all of that. Now, moving down to the final section is news and reviews. The way we're going to be handling this bottom section is, instead of a chronological, horizontally formatted blog roll like a lot of sites do, like we've done in the past, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pairing off categories of content all the way down here. So for every category on the site, there's going to be a news category and then a review category, and we're going to be pairing those on their way down the page. So game news will go right next to game reviews, and comic news next to comic reviews, movie next to movie, so forth and so on. At the moment, because we don't have all of our new content in place yet, you may have noticed a lot of this is older placeholder content from back when we kind of went idle. Some of those slots are being filled right now, and we don't necessarily have, like, to give you an example, movie news we have here, we don't have any movie reviews right now, so television reviews is just holding down this spot, and then comic reviews is kind of sitting down here by his lonesome. But the point being is, once these categories get filled out, we're going to just be pairing them down the site. So this will eventually be filled out, and we'll stretch further down, and we'll have 2 categories for each section on our way down here. Over on the sidebar, we have links to our RSS feed, Twitter, Facebook widget here. We just recently added a Google Plus page, so if you want to add us to your circles on Google Plus, we recommend you click this button right here and do so. And of course, if you haven't already liked the Facebook page, you can do that as well. Our friends and affiliate sidebar, there'll be a couple of new ones going in here that aren't there at the moment, but we haven't fully got everything updated yet, as we mentioned before. And then, as we said, down at the bottom, a lot of the stuff, the menus that were at the top, are kind of mirrored down there. The only other thing I would mention is covering our new rating system and our new review system. Like, a lot of our reviews are kind of staying the same here. Like, if you click over to this, for example, ratings are up here. A lot of our overview stuff that was previously at the bottom of a post, things like publisher, genre, release date, all that kind of stuff, we've now moved that up here to the top next to a cover shot. What we liked, what we disliked is sticking around. We've gotten rid of target audience for the time being, but everything else is pretty much up here. And then, of course, the body content of the post is still what it is. Comments at the bottom. Over to the left, on the single pages, you'll notice social bookmarking plugins, so you can like things on Facebook, tweet them, add them to Google+, stumble upon. We recommend you doing all of these, please. We would love for you to get us out there in front of as many eyes as possible. So I think for the most part, that probably covers a lot of our major issues right now. Pardon me. You may notice if you go into any particular category's more section, the archives are set up in a 3x3 grid format with 9 posts per page, instead of, again, the vertical scrolling chronological roll. So we've got that going for the time being. Something to take in mind at the moment, we do know that if you go back to some of our older posts right now, they may not have thumbnails on a lot of them. I think once you go back about 9 pages deep in game news, we reach a point where the thumbnails blow out. We are aware of this issue. We'll be fixing it slowly, but there's a lot of content to go back and redo, so just something to keep in mind there. For the most part, I think that's about it. We hope you like the new site design and some of the changes that we're going to be implementing, and we can't wait to see all you guys back on the site again and commenting and talking to us on our social networks and all of that fun stuff. So I think that's going to be about it. So we will see you guys around the site.